Hey guys,
let's get Dan in when he's ready.
In 9 or 12 hours, we can see a quick.
And background action.
And action.
You flew to Dublin to break up me in bed, right?
The hardest scene in the movie to write, and I did a lot of different versions of it, just trying to find the right tone. I tried so many different versions of the scene, like shorter versions, longer versions, because it felt like such an important moment. Because so much of the movie is about timing, that idea of like Wallace is finally being honest, but he's kind of being honest at the worst possible moment.
Come a little bit further with the...
When we were shooting the scene of the movie theater, it was very tough to write. They come out and they see each other and have to decide if they're going to act like they remember each other. When we shot it, Mike covered that scene, the scene outside the movie theater, from a ton of different angles, and he really spent a lot of time on that scene. And then the scene where they're just walking, talking about the movie, he shot it in like one shot, no cuts, with a Steadicam.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of one-offs that we tried to do, and it was just a decision to stick with it and to try and get the performance all within the frame, and taking that from those movies, like from When Harry Met Sally or The Apartment. There's a lot of just one takes in the camera, and there's something nice just about letting those actors go. And it's a very talky film, and the most we could do in terms of building it into one shot, the better off it'll be.
It's actually based on like a true experience that I had. I got a job writing software manuals, doing basically exactly what Wallace does in the movie. It paid like really well, but it was unbelievably easy and boring. And I was getting paid to sit there, but they had nothing to do. That's when I started writing my first script.
Oh, Wallace? God, the workplace? Save it for later.
His humour was close to mine in the script anyway, but I think having now filmed for a few weeks and improvised a little bit, his humour has become closer and closer to what the things I would say and find funny.
Yeah, rolling.
The dinner scene. I love that scene. I think that's the scene where the movie really starts to move. And actually a lot of what we did in the edit suite was move that scene up, because it's really, it's sort of the inciting incident of the plot in terms of having all the characters. There's also sort of a playfulness to it and a bit of sizing each other's up. And obviously the comic value physically of having sort of the jalapeno in the eye gag and the door gag really comes at a good time. It sort of sets the tone comically for the next part of the film.
Mike wanted me to do a cameo in the movie, and we just talked about what would be a good spot for it. The thing about being a storyteller is if you love your characters, you have to torture them. I thought it was kind of a funny sort of meta thing for me to be the guy who sort of, basically wrecked his life by, cheating on him with his girlfriend.
That was my ex-girlfriend?
Yeah. She's so blonde.
Cut. Cutting. Perfect. That was great. I like the ease of shooting on sound stages. I like the control of shooting on a set, where you can shoot it 6 ways to Sunday and get rid of walls. And I'm becoming more and more into shooting on sets. Anything that depending on what it is, like if it's somebody's apartment and there's an authenticity of a specific architecture that's really hard to recreate, it makes sense to try and shoot it on location, but many times you're gonna always have sort of some studio just even as rain cover. So I like both, actually. I would probably do more if I could.
What is the significance of Fool's Gold? At the end of the movie, this sort of like seemingly silly, trivial thing has emotional resonance. It becomes like a symbol of their real feelings for each other. And just that idea of like a disgusting sandwich being like a love letter, I just thought was sort of felt emblematic of the film.
So that's a cross section of Fool's Gold.
Yeah, just take this off. You don't need to.
Okay, just greasing the wheels.
2 seconds.
Go guys, come on.
Why are you torturing yourself over what could be a 10-second conversation with Chantry that would answer everything?
Nicole, it's your wedding day. Can we talk about you?
Yes, exactly. It's my wedding day. As best man, it's your job to keep me calm so I don't crawl out of that window and go and bang a sailor.
Well, where are you even gonna find a sailor?
At the dock.
Shot. Very nice.
Cut.
Good work, buddy.
When we were financing the movie, it was like, well, where can we do this? I mean, it's going to be Dublin. We're going to make it in Dublin. We're going to go to Dublin. We're going to really shoot the city for the city and not fake it.
What was nice was normally at the end of a shoot, you're kind of out of money. And because of the nature of the co-production, where we had to spend a certain amount of money in Ireland, it was actually a sort of a second wind. So we finally got to Ireland, and we still had money to play with, which is usually you're dying, you're on fumes by the end of the shoot. And so by the time we got to Dublin, it was like a nice sort of fresh restart on the shoot. And the crews were great. The only problem is you can't shoot past midnight. There's a lot of hullabaloo about shooting past midnight in Ireland. It's a little different way of working, but once you get into the rhythm of how they do it, it's the same language. Everybody's making movies.
You know, there's a scene where Chantry kind of drunk dials Ben, and he's in the middle of like a meeting with like the UN, council, and and he picks up and he's sort of awkward. They're having this kind of awkward conversation because it's like 3 a.m. for her and she's drunk, and he's like in a meeting. And then I saw the set, and the set is insane. And I mean, there was like literally $5 million worth of original restoration art on the wall. One of the paintings is like a $3 million painting. I wish I had imagined how great this set is, because like it's so much funnier than just the conference room I imagined we'd get.
It's been one of these sort of ones that you, I think, look back on and think like, that was the best it's ever gonna get.
It's exactly what I wanted, but as a writer, you never know who's really gonna end up embodying it. So I feel very, very fortunate that we got two amazing actors.
And they play off each other. Chemistry is fantastic, and we kind of saw it the second we put them in together at the makeup and hair test.
He lets us play around and encourages all of that play. So yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed working with him.
I really hope you had an effing amazing time here.